Well, the high Cascade deer season was just a few days away, so the Dar Chris team, that's a fancy way of saying Darcy and Chris, headed up into the hills. We found a pretty good spot nestled into the spruce and fir trees and angled our trailer Tonto into a shaded flat area. Looked like it would work fine.
That's about right. That's about good, I think.
We went through the normal setup chores of disconnecting, turning on the propane, leveling, chalking, getting the slide out, pushed out into place, and then rolling out the awning as far as it would go. That'll have to do. The last chore was to haul Shoppy the cat in and get her set up in her window seat.
Shoppy's in the window in there in our trailer. Very peaceful, not a sound except our own feet crunching here and there. And this is what we're surrounded by.
It wasn't long until the critter spotted something outside. When I went out to look, I found that we had been invaded by a squadron of gray jays, or as they're commonly known, camp robbers. They are wild birds, but they do seem to like people, at least enough to bum food off of them. Anyway, the whole troop swooped in and they were ready to eat. Surprisingly, they were well-mannered and seemed to wait in line, each for his own turn. Tossed one a piece of bread, and as soon as he or she took off, the next one showed up for his turn. They were so common in our camp that we referred to them as the chickens and fed them daily.
Oh, somebody else got it.
Oh, you got a mouthful. When you come back begging for more. Whole mouth. Okay, up here. I got to go get another piece of bread. Watch my spot.
I knew that was going to happen.
Before long, night fell, and we readied ourselves for scouting duty with the coming morning. I had scouted this very area right up at the foot of Mount Jefferson a month ago. In 2017, a fire had burned the Whitewater Creek area and left a heavily scarred hillside that I figured would be producing deer food by now. Something must have been wrong with my figuring, because in a total of 4 days, I had seen exactly no deer. The first spotting we made wasn't a deer. Nope. Way back in the forest, there he was, sitting in a tree, a spotted owl. That must mean there weren't a lot of loggers in the area, but I don't know about deer. Still, there had to be something here. The country looked so good. A little rustling in the brush, and out popped a mountain quail. Pretty, but not what we were after. We kept tromping around the area, and finally we ran into some horned critters, but the wrong kind, since these were elk.
Well, we haven't seen any deer this morning, but look at that. Too bad Christopher didn't draw an elk tag.
But it was still a treat to see them. That's the way it works, though. When you hunt elk, you see lots of deer, and vice versa.
Looks like he's gonna check us out. What are you guys doing here?
It had been an interesting morning, but we still hadn't seen a deer. Well, here we are near Woodpecker in the Sandy Am unit.
Beautiful
And this
Mount
is-
Jefferson in front of us.
This is where we're going to be hunting. Unfortunately, we've scouted for a couple of days and we haven't seen any deer. That's going to make the hunt that much harder. Anyway, tomorrow morning is opening day and we'll be out there in the woods with everybody else. But we've decided we're not going to be real picky.
No.
And since we can legally harvest a doe if we ever see one, we're going to harvest one. We're not going to be picky at all. We want a nice piece of meat to put in the freezer for winter, and we can do our trophy hunting in elk season in about a month. We'll see how that works out. But we'll get out in the woods and we'll chase them around. I don't know if you can see up there in the hills, but there's a lot of forest fire damage. Some parts of the unit are a whole lot worse, but it's still evident here. And the deer do seem to be in the burned areas, but it's real noisy and they're hard to approach. Anyway, we're going to give it a try. I got my camera crew here.
Yeah.
And we'll see if we can make this happen. I don't know.
Wish us luck.
We'll see you opening day.
Yeah.
Time to head back for lunch and feed the chickens, I guess. Oh, I'm just going to sit here. The chickens agreed. It didn't take long to go through several slices of bread, but I think we all enjoyed it. Dark 30 on opening day, we were headed to the only spot where we had found any amount of sign, a clear cut. Soon as the truck stopped rolling, we hopped out, careful not to slam the doors. The camera crew immediately found some fresh tracks and filmed them to prove that we had seen at least one set of tracks. But as they say, you can't eat tracks. The old clear cut looked pretty good to me. There was lots of browse and cover in abundance. We had found tracks here, and even though we hadn't actually stuck a deer in any of them, it was a good looking spot. As I crept along around each bush, I expected to see a deer. As we got over to the southern edge of the clear cut, we got close to unburnt timber. I heard a couple of crunches in the brush ahead, and I was sure that it was a deer. Then I got a flash of movement in the thick stuff and pointed it out to the camera crew. There's a deer. I could see that the deer was headed for the timber and eased ahead for a better view. It stepped into the edge of the timber and stopped for a second to look back. It was a simple shot, 50 yards. Now we gotta go find it. It's dead. We just gotta go find it. Soon we had the deer cleaned and moved to a nearby road. At this point, it had been a great day. Our luck was about to end in a big way. The camera crew went to get the truck, and the plan was to drive down to pick me and the deer up. That was the plan, but it didn't happen exactly that way. Somewhere along the way, the right front tire left the gravel roadway, and then things really fell apart. It's a miracle the truck didn't roll over and all the way down the hill. Really a miracle. I'm up here. The end of the truck is down there. It was bad. It could have gone on. If that truck had started rolling down that hill, we'd be chasing it now. I don't know. It would have eventually hung up on some trees, but it had a long, damaging way to go. That's steep. Well, that was quite a day.
It was an amazing day, yes.
Quite a day.
Yeah. Thrilling on many levels.
Yeah, we got our piece of meat for the winter.
That was exciting, but
Closed the day out with a little altercation on the road.
jeez.
Minor.
It feels good to be alive. It feels very good to be alive.
Yeah, you came real close. I still don't know why the truck didn't roll over.
I don't
it
either.
should have rolled
I don't
over.
either. My life flashed before me.
But
all of that, but anyway, it's over with. Ugh.
we got to go back to town now and see if we can make some salami. And, well, first of all, just get the deer all cleaned up and cut up and whatever. And with the pieces left over, we'll make salami and grind up a little meat for hamburger.
We're set.
Piece of cake. Nothing to it.
Nothing to it.
What a day.
No problemo.
What
Yeah.
a day.
That was a day that was for the memory books, and one we don't really want to repeat in terms of the truck.
No, I mean,
The deer maybe, but not the truck.
yeah, it was a whole great day except for about the last couple of hours. That's enough jabbering.
All right.
Let's go home and
Okay.
we got to get packed up and everything, and then we'll go back and take care of this deer.
Okay.
But that's tomorrow.
All right.
All right. Well, we got the deer back here. Now we got to get the deer in there, the freezer. Here are the back straps we took off out in the field, and I'm just going to stick the knife between the meat and the silver skin on the back of this and slide this off. We don't need this in the finished product. Now we got to cut it into steaks, and that's pretty easy to do. Nice tender meat. Man, you cannot beat this for tender. Ooh, look at that. What you got here on each one of these is, well, we'll count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 of these beautiful little steaks. That is good eating. Okay, and that's pretty much what you do to the back strap. And I'll get this other back strap cut up. And you do the second one just like the first one. That kind of figures. Makes sense to me. Okay. Get the silver skin off. And then the good part is staking it out. There, we couldn't cut it up into the little steaks, and I don't know if there's the same number, but it's close enough because nobody's going to count them. And then all we got to do Well, they're pretty small. Maybe I'll put more in there. We'll have 6 of them. What the heck? Just load in here however many you think it takes to make a breakfast, along with a couple of eggs and some potatoes. We'll seal this up and put it away for about next April, or whenever we haul it out and eat it for breakfast. Well, we got quite a pile of backstrap here, several pounds. In the freezer it goes. Okay, here's a hindquarter. Now you can do all kinds of fancy stuff with that and cut it up and make roasts, or take each muscle, each one is kind of defined where it's at, and separate this muscle from the muscle next to it, and before you know it, you have a bunch of chunks. Okay, we got that all parted out. Not much meat left on the bone. And then you take each one of these individual chunks and cut steaks off of it. And that's what we're going to do now. Just simply find a piece here, go across grain, and so on until you get several nice steaks like that, and they're going to get packaged up like the backstrap did and stuck in the freezer. Right now we're putting pork, venison, and beef into this sausage stuffer here. What this old geezer here is trying to say is that we are grinding a mixture of beef, pork, and venison that will then be mixed with spices, garlic, and cure and stuffed into 3-inch sausage casings. Okay, we got the sausage all mixed up in here. We got beef, pork, venison, and we squeezed in some garlic. Boy, never having done this before, this may not work. It may not. I'll step aside so you can see it. We got one baby done. One old sausage. We got 3 more of these to make, and that'll be enough sausages. This is just a test. We've never done it before. We'll give it a try. Well, that was our adventure at the foot of Mount Jefferson. Some high points and one big, not so good low point. But it could have been worse. And I had to make an admission that tickled the crap out of the camera crew. That follows if you're interested. Or stood in the rain and waited for the tow truck to show up for.
Yeah.
But he got here remarkably fast, really.
He did. He did. He rescued us good. It was
Made our
work. Good work.
Made our wallet a little lighter, but
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
okay. He did a good job. I'd commend him. Anyway.
Yeah, he did good. And the phone worked. And Mr. Pruitt even said, I know I badmouth cell phones, smartphones, but it rescued us.
Yep. Yep.
Woohoo!
Without the cell phone, we would have been in trouble today, big time.
And you heard it. You heard him say it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't have got reception where we were.
No, we shouldn't have.
There should be nothing here.
There was nothing, in so many areas around here there was nothing, but we lucked out that way.